pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces as we do each meeting, and also remember Ina Meekum. Ina Meekum not only was a very good friend of me, but others in this room, a member of the 4th of July committee, and young person, and she will be missed. And also, if we could remember in our prayers for a quick recovery, those that were injured in the ambulance corps due to an accident. Thank you. Tonight's a workshop. We have a little agenda here. So I have reviewed the minutes that were taken on November the 4th, 2019. If we could have a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Trustee DeSalvo and seconded by Trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is a request. As you know, we're having a little work done on a wall up on West Street that belongs to us after a homeowner showed us a survey. It's a small job, if you will. It was awarded, and the contractor who's been up there is asking for a small extension in time to the end of November to complete the job. If we could grant that, it would be good.
I'll make a motion we extend the completion of work to November 30th.
Second.
Trustee DeSalvo and Trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
To November 30th?
30th?
I thought you said December, sorry.
No, November.
November.
Motion carried. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to have authorization to sign this agreement that you have before you with Central Hudson. So just a little explanation here. Central Hudson, as we all know, came in and put a new main down Main Street, and they also did other streets, Center Street and other streets, Homestead, Perry, Drew, with mains, and then they had to also then put laterals. Whenever they put a main down the road, they also have to hook up new laterals to the homes. So this went with our planning, as we always do, and it's a good move on the village board's part that we meet with outside utility folks to say we're going to pave certain streets in the coming months. Or you have any work planned on these streets? When we have them open, it would be the time for you to do them, not after we come in and repave. And so they came up with a host of streets here. As I said, Homestead, Perry, Drew, Church, Main, West Street, Center Street, South Street. And they put new mains and they put new laterals to each home. And then they would do their restoration. So I worked out a deal with them. The board gave me permission to negotiate. And we worked out a deal, instead of them doing the restoration, that we do it. Because we were doing it anyway. And it all conformed. But in turn, we wanted a dollar amount, being they didn't have to do it themselves. So recently we received a $15,000 check that went for work that they did over by Roe Park, Oak, Barry, in that area, Mearns, and that went into an account. And through negotiations, I worked out with them another $110,000. So that's a total of $125,000 that the village, after I sign this agreement, will receive in total. The $15,000 plus the new $110,000. That'll go towards paving. And in the near future, the public will be shown where the money all came from to do all this paving and sidewalks and all this good stuff that we've been doing. And this is a small part of that. So I would like the board to give me permission to sign this letter from Central Hudson where they agreed to another $110,000.
So, second.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Anything, Gina, I should add more than that?
No.
That's a good story. Next is a resolution applying for a grant for $10,000 from Greenway, Hudson River Valley Greenway Planning Grant, and this will be for Lady Cliff Park. Whereas the Village of Highland Falls actively pursues grant opportunities, and whereas the Village of Highland Falls is applying to the Hudson River Valley Greenway for a grant under the Hudson River Valley Greenway Planning Grant Program for a project entitled Lady Cliff Park Master Plan to be located in the Village of Highland Falls. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Highland Falls, in its capacity of governing body of the Village of Highland Falls, does approve and endorse the application for a grant under the Hudson River Valley Greenway Planning Grant Program for a project known as Lady Cliff Park Master Plan located within this village. Be it furthermore resolved that the mayor of the Village of Highland Falls is authorized to sign any paperwork necessary for the implementation of this grant. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Ramus, seconded by trustee DeSalvo. May I have roll call?
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Aye.
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you so much. Okay, the next is a proposal for a fuel tank for the Senior Citizen Center. And I just want you to know that it was an emergency. Our contractor who fills up the tank for heating for the Senior Center would not fill us up because the tank, he found that the tank was in disrepair. Of course we need to have a fuel tank, we need to have oil in the tank so to get the heat on. So we have a proposal here from C.D. Parry, who does not provide the oil, but he will do the tank for us, to install for $1,095. And they'll remove the old tank and dispose of it for $250. So it comes to $1,345. So I would like permission to sign this proposal.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. Fire Chief has a couple of requests. He would like for the approval of a new member for the Highland Falls Fire Department, Angel Pratt. How's the paperwork?
All's in.
All in. Okay. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, second by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, the fire chief, Eric Smith, has a request in to declare the following items surplus. 2 single gas CO meter beyond lifespan. Combustible gas indicator no longer works, unable to repair. MSA 4 gas meter beyond lifespan, no longer serviceable. 2 scuba voice amplified, broken, unable to fix. All items listed above have no value and will be disposed of. And they've been already replaced, which is good news. So we need a motion to allow them to discard these items that are listed.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Ramus and second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a request from St. John's AME Zion Church from the pastor in preparation for celebrating Christmas. They would like to use Memorial Park on December the 16th from 5 to 6:30 to have choir, Christmas music. And if it is your wish to approve this, I would at the same time would request that the motion include the waiver of live entertainment permit fee.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 16th Christmas caroling at the gazebo for St. Amy Zion Church. I'll include in my motion to waive the permit fee pending all proper documentation is submitted before the date of the event.
Okay. Motion by trustee DeSalvo, seconded by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is an introduction of a local law amendment to zoning. Tonight is a night, I will ask that we introduce this, and that's all that takes place. There's no public comment tonight. There'll be public hearings. And it's an introduction. And at the same time, if this is allowed to be introduced, it will be sent to the Consolidated Town of Highlands Planning Board and to the County Planning Department with their response back. You see on the front page, about the third paragraph down, that the Board of Trustees shall hold a public hearing on the proposed local law here, 303 Main, at 7 p.m. on December 2. So, may I have a motion? I need a motion to introduce this, Kurt? Yeah. So could I have a motion just to introduce this local law?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Do you need a separate one for the public hearing date?
It's in the resolution that that's the date
Okay.
that it will be.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is a change order, number 1, North Main Street Sidewalk Project. There was, I don't know if I want to call them overruns. What would I call them? Maybe overruns.
Increases.
Increases, legitimate, of course, they are, we reviewed them. For $17,361.37. But I also at the same time would like folks to know that that was actually $10,000 more. It was actually $27,361. And again, through negotiations downstairs, I was able, meeting with the village engineer and the contractor, for items that I saw, and the village board agreed that had to be fixed or borne by us to do, in other words, my highway guys. Through negotiations, $10,000, I was able to take $10,000 off the price. So that knocked it down to $17,361. So if I could have a motion to accept change order number 1.
Mr. Mayor,
Mhm.
real quick. Looking at extra work, I mean, it only makes sense that we put the detectable warning surfaces. I mean, those look great, right? Everybody's seen those. One of the other ones speaks about the trees, it's another big plus to the project. So, I'll make a motion that we accept this change order.
Is there a second? Motion by trustee Randall, second by trustee Hour, to accept the change order number 1 for North End Main Street Sidewalk Project. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion on reorg. Any comments, suggestions? You have one company looking for $50,000 and you have another company looking for $46,000. And just to reiterate again, we do not have the money at the moment for all of this. I believe we have $31,000, for which of that half of it is the grant money and half of it is village taxpayer money. But not enough to do a complete project. So, go ahead.
Question, so when we say we have 31, we really have 15.5 in grant money?
Yes.
15.5 we have to put up, plus the additional if we went with, let's say,
That's correct.
50,000.
That's correct.
So technically, we only have 15.5 in grant money that we have to match right off the bat. And then the additional money for if we went with the $46,000 option, let's say. Okay, so it's a little more than just 10 grand or 15 grand, it's 30 grand. Hey, my personal opinion is that I'm not opposed to doing it. I think we're gonna probably enter the budget season in the next couple months, and we budgeted then, and where we have new numbers for 2020, and that way the company can come in with fresh data, and actually they could probably get into the process with us during budget time. That would be my suggestion, since we got a lot of infrastructure we've been doing, and there's gonna be, bills and claims tonight, and we have more projects in the work come spring. We have unanticipated projects that previous board promised, and now we have to encumber those costs. That's a major project. So, again, not against it, but the finances are very important to me, so I think it would be more important if we had a budget line item for it and did it right. And do it once and do it right and then be done. This constant, every couple of years we talk about, another study, like, I think there's like 5 or 6 already, so
I
let's.
have 5 studies, and I've said this many times, many times. Some were done by professional companies, and some were done by citizens, local citizens,
Yeah, it's
very capable citizens. And all 5 say the same thing. The result, if you looked at them, I'd like to say the very last page, but on some of it, it is the last page, and other of the 5, it's not. But they all come to the same conclusion. And here we are talking about another, and that's fine. But as you're bringing up, we don't have the dollars for the project at the moment.
Maybe we could apply for another grant, but I'm not saying I would hold it up to start it, to wait for another grant. I just think we should be able to budget for it. I mean, you probably have $125,000 in studies downstairs right now.
Sure.
I'm sure you could say, what's the point of doing another one, but I don't mind doing another one and refreshing it. You refresh a master plan every 10 years. Maybe we have to look at it as costs change over certain amounts of time. But, 30 or 40 grand that we're gonna end up spending, I wanna know where our budget is for 2020. I know the stock market's at, 27,000 plus, but that doesn't mean next year, we'll be in the same spot. I hope we are, but.
Brian, any thoughts? If we go that route, up to the board, I would like permission to call the 2 companies and tell them of our decision and ask them to hold the price, and we'll get back in touch with you And we're looking for your help.
It's a couple months. Like, it's not like it's, we start,
January.
January, so it's not like, it's not like it's not gonna happen. And to start a study now with 2 major holidays, and there's just, you always block out a week here or 2 weeks there, I don't know, just.
Jim?
I think it makes sense that we have a line item in the next year's budget. We already have, it seems, with the grant money, $31,000 and the money that we were gonna contribute. So, we know that, and correct me if I'm wrong. So then there was just another, maybe 15,000, 16,000?
No.
No, that,
The 31 is half hours.
yeah.
I understand that, so, but
No,
do
not.
we already know where that 15,000, did we already budget for that, is my question?
No.
All right, so now I understand.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 30,000 that we
Probably
should make
40.
sure we have in the budget
Yeah.
somewhere. I thought maybe we already had this set on.
No, I understand. And that's why I broke it down, because we don't technically have 30K.
The minimum that we're going to have to put up going on these prices is 35
Okay, so
from us.
Right.
I think we can achieve that in the budget process.
Hopefully.
I said I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I think a lot of
Yeah,
things.
I think we could too.
You're gonna ask them to hold the price, right?
I am going to, if you allow me, I'm going to ask them.
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
And I think you'll have to ask for extension.
An extension.
You have to ask for
For
extension
the,
on the
for the
grant.
15K that we do have on the state.
The grant will expire in March.
Well, he's been calling me,
Okay.
Carl. He's been calling me. So
And maybe.
1 and then 2 is Carl.
It may be a question, Mayor, that if we are going into 2020, does that open us up to the possibility of applying for additional funds? Even if it's matching, it would be worth it, because then maybe we only have to come up with 20.
Well, matching is always better.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't, said discussion, we don't need a motion for anything unless you want one. You okay?
I'm okay.
All right. Can we, is anything else on this one?
No.
Okay. I have bills and claims here, as we reviewed them downstairs, of $222,703.91.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. So Sean, if you could help me here, this is a flyer that is downstairs in the lobby. Just have to walk in and pick one up. But this is what we're calling Operation Gratitude. I'm hoping to get the children involved up into our young folks in high school, civic groups, adults, to make handcrafted Christmas cards. Of course, they don't have to be handcrafted, they can be bought at the store. And there's a Christmas tree, if you will, downstairs in the lobby. And if you come in, we would like you to hang, especially the children, we would like them to hang their Christmas cards on the tree. That's the only ornaments, if you will, decorations, if you will, that are going to be on the tree. There's lights on it right now. It's beautiful. And then at a with proper timing, these cards will be sent to probably Afghanistan. Not probably, they'll go to Afghanistan and maybe Iraq, but definitely Afghanistan. So please participate and have the children come in and decorate the tree, and these cards will be sent. Last night, sometimes we use these words, I had the honor. But it was an honor. Trustee DeSalvo went with me, and there were other folks there, and we went to the Orange County Emergency Services Auditorium. I had never been there. Beautiful auditorium out in Goshen for the Veterans Hall of Fame inductees. And I had nominated this young fella, Joseph Lowney. Can you pick that up, please? This young man, who was not there because he's actually in rehab in California, and until just a few days ago was coming, but because he has to bring assistance, people that can assist him, with him, those arrangements could not be made in time. So his mother went with us, and she received his award from Colin Schmidt, and there were probably 20, one or two young men from World War II. It was great. Vietnam War, and other military folks that served this country and then came home and continued to serve. So I want to speak about this young man, because he really got injured. He actually took a bullet to the head. These aren't pleasant things to think about. He entered the service in 2003. He is now medically retired in 2015, over 12 plus years. He sustained gunshot wounds in Afghanistan to the head. And of course he was awarded the Purple Heart. He actually spent months in a coma. Imagine the family, his mother, in a coma. When you're in a coma, you don't know. Given a 10% chance of survival, and he survived. So that's the good news. Retired as a Sergeant First Class, Special Forces, Engineering Division. And as I said, he's going through intensive rehab in California. So, as I stated in the beginning, it was an honor. It truly was an honor for us to be there. We were told he was on live
stream.
Live stream.
The event was on live stream, so he could technically have seen it. He could see it. Of course, the time difference or whatever. But
Yeah.
No, it was live actually, so we would have saw it
Yeah.
right then and there.
Yeah. So it was late afternoon where he is. So that's all I want to say. I'm glad my recommendation was picked. For sure it's deserving. For us to say thank you is never enough. But we do say thank you for everything that you have done for us. And we hope that you're being taken care of, as our big shot politicians in Washington say they take care of our veterans. Well, take care of our veterans. That's all I can tell you. Take care of our veterans. Can you continue, Sean? December the 3rd, at the Senior Citizen Center, the Knights of Columbus Hall, at 7 o'clock will be this meeting here. It's our second of 3 workshops that we're holding through a grant that we received. The purpose is to discuss a local waterfront revitalization strategy, i.e. the Highland Falls Marina, and to talk about the findings and things that came up at the first meeting, how folks would like to see downtown, Main Street, etc., etc., as we go into the future. This is very, very exciting stuff, and the more folks that come, the better it is. The more suggestions, the better it is. So again, this is going to be on December the 3rd at 7 o'clock at the Senior Citizen Center. And again, there's flyers. You don't have to do anything. We just walk in the lobby and they're right there. Pick one up and walk out. These are there for a nice reminder. With not much discussion tonight, I will tell you that the ALO property, we know the ALO property is 30 acres behind the old Grand Union that overlook the river. It's been around for quite a while, undeveloped. Scenic Hudson is looking at it, and at this point they do have an option. It's up to them to make the option for them work, and we'll see where this takes us. But they're staying in close contact. They know how I feel. I don't want it to come off the tax rolls, and those discussions are still going on between the village, myself, and Scenic Hudson. So we'll continue to update everyone. Hold on, guys. I have a letter here from Kathy Keene, who lives on Cooks Lane. She would like to thank Police Officer Ruger for actions that he took during a recent incident involving minors who were harassing and trespassing on her property. At all times of the night, the police officers arrived and were very kind and sympathetic to the plight and did extra patrols to curtail this problem. And so that's a positive letter. We read both positive and negative. This is a certificate, a copy of a certificate that Ryan Kresbach received. If you will remember, not long ago, we authorized him to take this class, grade D operator course for the water plant. And he passed October 22, October 23. He went, and this is a copy of his certificate that's been placed in his file. I'd like to read this press release. This involves a drug raid. Heard me many times, and board members many times, that we're in this fight. We will stay in the fight as long as it takes. We're very aware, very aware of what is going on in this community. And I have reported in this room many times different drug raids, arrests, put in jail, gone to court. Sometimes they've come back home, and sometimes they have gone to jail for a long period of time. We called all of our drug busts over the last couple of years Operation Street Sweeper. You can see the relationship there. We changed the name this time and called it Operation Fall Cleanup. An ongoing narcotics investigation dubbed Operation Fall Cleanup resulted in an arrest. At approximately 5 a.m. on the 6th of November, the Highland Falls Police Department, along with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, executed search warrants at 65 Center Street in Highland Falls. Name? No. Search warrant was obtained for the residence. While executing the search warrant, officers discovered a quantity of cocaine, a loaded handgun, and other drug packaging. Person was arrested. Felony charges were against him, and in front of a local judge here, and sent to Orange County Jail. And there's always a disclaimer here, and I think I should read it. A criminal charge is merely an allegation that a defendant has committed a violation of criminal law, and it is not evidence of guilt. So I just want to make that clear also. I think we have a good case. Let the courts decide. I'm going to read something I've never done, and hopefully I never will do it again, because I think our time is more valuable than this. I'm going to read a post from Facebook. It's an amazing post. I'm reading it because not only is it amazing, but it makes me laugh. And I'm glad it makes me laugh instead of something opposite of that. I won't even say who wrote it, although the name is right here. What's with the road paving at the last minute? I could take this apart. Never answered it, and I won't. I don't answer Facebook posts because people are amazing. What's with the road paving at the last minute? At the last minute. Call it, and I'm not going to use the word, but call it blank poor planning. A conspiracy. A conspiracy to suppress the election. You guys know about this? So we were going to pave the street at the last minute as a conspiracy to suppress the election. Think about that. Last minute bipartisan activists triggered a change of plans, and the road in front of the Highland Falls polls will not be closed for paving. Thank God for this bipartisan activist. I'm not going to read anymore. It's ridiculous. So I think what I'm trying to say to everyone is, I just felt I should read this because it's so ridiculous. You know, it's nice to read something ridiculous because it makes you laugh. And please, please, I beg you, please, and I think people, most people anyway, are smarter than this. Don't believe what you read on Facebook in all cases. Thank you. Jim?
I'm okay.
Mr. Bryant?
Yeah, I have a couple of things quickly. The center is now on their coat drive, so it'll wind up in a week or so. Also, the center is asking that you be aware that we're going to be doing a workshop by the Safe Homes on sex trafficking in our state. I talked to some parents and they said that can't happen here, but I would suggest it is happening in the Hudson Valley. And it's going to be held at the American Legion Hall on the 21st of November, 6:45 to 8 o'clock. Also, the workshops at the high school that deal with alcohol, drugs, vaping, etc., etc. Several people have said to me, I don't think our kids are going to get involved in this. I hope they don't either, but I think you should be aware of what's going on, that you can talk to your adolescents or younger children in a rational, logical manner and know what's going on. So when the school has those, I would urge parents to please come up and take a look at that. Last thing I have is on the 28th of November, Thanksgiving community dinner at Holy Innocents, and there'll be more information in the paper. Thank you.
Brian, I think that, I don't think, I know that these programs that the center is offering, whether it's on drugs or it's sex trafficking, all the different things, they're constant. The center needs to be commended, so I'm doing that right now. We didn't have a lot of that before, and so that's where your interests lie, and it's good.
Thank you.
Jim?
Yeah, just one real quick thing. O&R, I've been in contact with them. They let us know about some additional streetlights. The 2% program, no cost to us, that they'll be putting in. I got the grid numbers for the poles. They are in front of 2 residents on the south end of Main Street. So I asked those residents how they felt, and they were hoping that they could get not as bright as the ones that we have here. And I told them we will definitely make sure that those aren't as bright there. But we still want to keep that bright corridor going down. And I think across from the Aristotle property, there's one there and it's very dark, and I know there's a lot of joggers out there. So that one we're going to definitely keep a bright light on the community entrance. And these lights should take us all the way to the Cragston interchange right there. and then we can go from there for our next round after that.
So here's what I would suggest. That we talk, I think I'd like to have a meeting, but however you want to handle this, we need to talk to them to let them know what size wattage we want on side streets before they start putting these up, as they already have, and then they have to come back. And sometimes that takes 6 months, who knows? So I think we need to decide what size of a light we want to illuminate for side streets.
Okay, so the ones that, the 2% program right now,
Huh?
this board had nothing to do with any of the
Right.
lights that are put on those side streets. We were just doing the Main Street corridor. I
That's our
understand.
2%.
This is our 2%.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And that's
So-
fine.
Right, so I understand your concern about when O&R comes in
And just change it.
and changes lights out.
They did it at the north end.
Correct, and I know they did them up on.
And now they're gonna have to come back, is my point.
Yeah, and they did them up on Eagle Valley. And what happened on Eagle Valley is they put in new poles. So instead of putting an old light back up, they put a new light up.
That's what they did at the north end, on Drew.
So I will contact Mr. Grant and Ms. Johnson, who I'm in contact with right now, and ask them if they can come down or send a representative down. And we could discuss when they replace the lights that are broken, that are not part of the 2% program, because we have control over the 2% lights. We don't have control over the other lights. So we'll see what we can do with that. I'll reach out to them tomorrow and I'll
I think
let
that's
you know.
important, because as they
Sure.
start to replace the side streets, because they don't work, or a new pole, it would be nice that they put up the size wattage that we're saying is acceptable to
Okay.
residents.
Okay,
And they all have to be the same. We can't ask for one over here and a different one on another street. We're all gonna have to,
Yeah.
it has to be the same. But I think it should be a little lower than Maine.
yes, but at the same time, we have to consider the dangerous intersections. And if, when you go up some of the side streets, there are intersections with the brighter lights, and they're there for a reason. We got used to them now. I think a brighter light at these dangerous intersections is a good idea. But the other lights absolutely should be toned down.
Thank you. If I could have a motion, to go into executive session to discuss specific individuals in a personnel matters, please.
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The last thing we want to say before we go into executive session, and this comes from not only me but the whole board, is Happy Thanksgiving. It's next week. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be, or it's already here, but it is. And if you went down to Rite Aid 3 months ago, they had Christmas trees up. So I guess that means Thanksgiving is closer than Christmas. And so we want everyone to have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. And please feel free to email trustee DeSalvo because he's in a dilemma. He doesn't know if, being he's making dinner for his entire family this year, if he should have plain stuffing or stuffing with sausage. Please let him know how you feel. It's a question that he has and he's trying to figure out, and he really needs to know. I told him a bowl of each. I'd be happy with that. So please email, it's jdesalvo@highlandfallsny.org.
Okay. And real quick, with Thanksgiving on the way, and I know they call the Friday after Black Friday, be safe shopping, go easy, and whatever you can, and whenever you can, try to shop local as much as you can.
And I thank you for that, Jim. Shop local is always good. And I do have 2 more things. I'm sorry. Could I have a motion to allow the Village Hall, ladies downstairs, to close the day before, on the 27th of
24th of
The-
December.
not thanks, okay, I'm thinking Thanksgiving still. On the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, at 1 o'clock. If I could have a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And I have one more
Extend water bills. Extend the payment of water bills,
till,
December 13th.
okay. So we had an issue with the water bills going out, and actually we didn't. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out what happened, but the Postal Service lost the water bills. We delivered them to Highland Falls. They agreed. They remember that. They were put on a truck, taken to Muncie, and ended up in White Plains. And so they were lost for several days. Found, which is great. But because everyone got them late, we don't want to charge a late fee at the end of this month. And so we're extending it with a motion tonight to December 13th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay?
So moved.
So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we can go into executive session. Thank you so much.